Hello there, hope you had a happy Christmas. These are the 3 books that I got from my parents for Christmas, all things that were on my list, so all things that I've wanted for ages and that I finally have, and I'm really happy about that. There's a dishwasher going on in the background, so apologies for the kind of mechanical whirring that might be coming up right now. But yeah, let's get on with it. First of all, Home Fire by Camilla Shamsi. This is a modern day retelling of the Antigone story. It won some prizes and stuff. It says winner for the Women's Prize for Fiction. And Antigone is one of my favorite Greek myths, and I talked about it in the last video I made actually. It's set in more contemporary times, and it talks about I think a Muslim family in the UK, and it's connected to politics, it's connected to Islamophobia, it's connected to jihadists, you know, why somebody might want to join a jihad. Like, it's really contemporary and urgent and about the world we live in now, but also adapting the universality of the Greek myths. So yeah, really wanted to read this for ages. I'm so excited I finally have it, and I can't wait to get to it. Next up, I have this book of short stories by one of my all-time favorite writers, Julio Cortázar from Argentina. So this is my parents wrote in all of these as well, really sweet. Happy Christmas. I think it's Nulik Shana? Sorry, Dad. But anyway, yeah, this one is the most kind of family one, because my dad got me into Cortázar when I was quite young, and I've always liked his stories. This is a new kind of compilation which has some of my favorite stories, as well as a whole bunch of stories that I've never read before, so that's really exciting. And the cover is an image of a story that I really like, that I've talked about on this channel a few times as well. So they're I guess you'd call them modernist things. Often there's something really kind of weird and surreal. Maybe surrealist is good, and sometimes magical realist. You know, he was part of the Latin American magical realist boom in the 60s. To give some examples, there's one where there's love triangle, but there's also an Aztec idol, and that kind of makes, brings out the hidden passions. There's often kind of these subconscious drives which get pulled out by some magical object or mysterious thing. And then there's one of a guy who's in a motorbike accident, and then he keeps falling in and out of consciousness, and when he's out of consciousness he's dreaming that he's actually in the Aztec civilization and being chased and sacrificed, and slowly the dream, which one is the dream and which one is the actual thing, start to kind of blur together. And there's another one about a guy who gets turned into an axolotl. So there's great things going here, which sort of bend reality and bend fiction and dreams. There's also one about a traffic jam where they're stuck in traffic for so long that people start getting out of their cars and they start talking to other people, and then they start helping each other out and sharing water, and then eventually they start going hunting together and start a small community and civilization around their cars. And that's kind of interesting, the way it bends time and human progress and stuff like that. And so they're kind of funny and playful, if that doesn't give you an idea of it. And I love them, and I'm going to be dipping into this all next year, I imagine. There's got a cool quote on the back as well by Pablo Neruda, the Spanish poet. It says, "Anyone who doesn't read Cortázar is doomed." So I am no longer doomed. Next up, we have The Ritual. This was a horror movie that I watched about a bunch of middle-aged men who go into the woods in Scandinavia, and then horror movie things happen. And it was really good, and I was really surprised, because I thought I was expecting just some sort of B-movie fare, but actually I really, really, really enjoyed it. It's kind of unusual for a horror movie to have men, all men, no women in it. I know that it seems it's not really woke, taking women out of the equation, but actually horror is all about vulnerability, and having men in situations where they have to deal with their feelings and group tensions and stuff like that. It does a lot with gender, and it's really interesting, and I really like the movie, and I was really surprised that it's actually a book as well, and the book's meant to be good too. And I don't know much about horror books, despite really liking horror movies. I've never read any Stephen King or anything like that, so I thought this would be a good place to really start. I mean, I like gothic things. I've talked about some gothic things like Picture of Dorian Gray and stuff like that, but that's very much of an earlier time. I don't know about contemporary horror stuff. So yeah, this maybe will be my way in. We'll see. And then finally a little bonus, isn't from my parents, this is from myself. I got this just before I left Japan. It's called, I think, Cho no Haka, or Chocho no Haka, like Grave of the Butterflies. And it's written from the 60s, it's a print from the 60s, and I saw it in this like old manga shop, and I was interested in this publishing label for a really long time, and I just really loved the cover, and it sort of speaks to the design of the... Oh, hang on a second. Hello.
Hey.
I was just my sister's boyfriend. What was I saying? Yeah, so I got this in Japan, like just before I left, and I know the writer. I'm reading a manga by him at the moment, and he's got this really like distinctive style, and I thought this cover really captured it. It's kind of like pop art and really garish, and like, even though the manga's in black and white, I really like these colors. I feel like they somehow like do justice to his style, and I like this one as well because, you know, it's like kind of like you got the horror screaming thing, but also it's kind of weird that the doubling, and also the butterflies, like, why are they scary? Who knows? I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to read all of this anytime soon because it's like actually pretty massive for a manga and has really tiny Japanese font that will be difficult for me to decode. So we'll have to see how that goes. But anyway, for me it's also a Christmas book. So there you have it. Those are the books that I got this Christmas. 3 from Santa, 1 for myself. That was just a pretty quick update, I thought, because I haven't been doing much talking lately. I've been just watching movies and eating food. So yeah, I haven't been YouTubing very much. But that will change in the new year, I imagine. And yeah, thank you for listening. If you have a winter holiday, then I hope you're enjoying it like I am. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.